Hi, this is Corina Angela, and this is Trine Healing. And thank you so much for joining me today. Um, this is Trine Healing, connect to your soul self. So this channel is all about how we can better connect to our soul self. And I love to do these videos. I absolutely love it. And it's very clear to me, based on past experiences. A while ago, a couple of years ago, I had a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, and I went live every day, and I would share information that came through my automatic writings and just what I received. And as a receiver, I would just, be vulnerable and open up and share. And through that sharing of being vulnerable, a lot of wonderful things transpired. So it became very clear to me yesterday that I went to read something and create a video, and I was recording it over and over and over again. And I'm not wired that way. So as a receiver, I'm present, I'm here, and I receive and I just go. It's all about frequencies for me, and whatever comes through is my greatest love, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to be doing more of this and just go from there. Because, so we're going to talk about vulnerability. Vulnerability. How in our lives can we be present and be more vulnerable and not have a script and not have the how-tos and someone, telling us the how-tos, or we need to go here, we need to go there, etc. Right? There's a piece that is very prevalent for me, and as I'm on this path, as we all are, growing and evolving and learning and exchanging information and sharing and all of those things, there comes a point in your life when you know what you're good at, you know what you're not good at, right? I'm not good at, reading something and trying to gather the information to project, and that's just not my genius. So being more vulnerable, I guess, with my process and how it is that I do receive, and to be open and vulnerable to that, because that's where I am my most authentic, and that's where my truth comes in 100%, because I feel almost stifled and put in a box when I do it otherwise. And how many times, of us out there, how many of us out there, try to conform, try to fit ourselves in that box, right? We weren't meant to be put in boxes, right? We know what we know what we don't know, right? We know what we know, and that's a beautiful process, right? Because we never know everything, right? Because it is a beautiful unfoldment, right? And to honor that space and to honor our vulnerability to be where you're at, right? And making sense of it along the way. When we have a curious mind, when we have a curious heart, we do want to connect the dots in some way, some form, some fashion to make sense of it, right? And I was given this beautiful lesson this morning of being your authentic self, and what does that truly mean? And when we try to conform and try to make such sense of it, we get incredibly frustrated, and we get taken back. And for us to deep dive even further into our beautiful processes, because we're all unique individuals. We see differently, we hear differently, we feel differently, we sense certain things in our body. We don't perhaps sense certain things in our body, so on and so forth. We are receiving tangible information at every point of the day, right? And in what ways do we process it? You know, what ways does our neurons in our brain process information? I may process information completely different than you, and vice versa, right? And how unique is that? And how to honor that beautiful space and to recognize that in others, right? And to recognize that we are all wanting to connect. And sometimes when we're trying so hard, right? Hard to connect, we lose a part of ourselves, right? So in what ways can we utilize today in present time, right here and right now, to connect in with our soul self and being vulnerable at the same time, but also intertwining your genius of how you process things, right? And how you approach different things and think about different things, right? And open yourself out of the box, you know? Food for thought. I could go on, and I'm going to try to make it short, because this is what's on my heart right here, right now, right? And being very present and being mindful. And how can we be more of that, you know? And with our beautiful processes of how we receive information and how we share out information, right? And how do we connect the dots? How do we make sense of things that are very, very important to us, right? And not to lose it in amongst the chaos and amongst other people and other people's perceptions and ways of processing, right? We all have our own a beautiful, unique process, and to honor where you're at and to not rush through things. And I think for me, I just, yeah, I mean, personally for me, I've been on this path for a very, very long time. And for me, I grapple with trying to put the pieces together to make some sense of it, because I see differently, you know, like we all do. We all see different ways, and perhaps we don't have the language for it. Perhaps we don't have the common knowledge of it, right? But we see it, we receive it in different ways, and allow it to come through and be vulnerable to that beautiful process, right? And to honor it and to cherish it, because from that, you know, things come to fruition, right? You know, look at all the inventors in the world and in our past, you know, they came in with new information that it was very difficult for them to place the language, right? Because there was no language. There wasn't, you know, a name for it, let's say, right? The name always came afterwards, right? So where can we be more vulnerable today with sharing our information, sharing our stories, writing our beautiful books, receiving in the most authentic and vulnerable ways. Right? Mm. Thank you. I just wanted to share. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. Really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, please do so now. That would be great. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please leave here. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me, Corina at trinehealing.com. And yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for the support. Really appreciate it.